All right, today let's talk about the quitter's trap in special operations selection. So that's BUZZ, RASP, SFAS, Indoc, ANS, whatever course you plan to go to, and why most fail before they even start. You might already be setting yourself up to quit and not even know it, because most guys think quitting happens in the moment. They imagine some guy dropping to his knees, shaking his head, finally whispering, "I can't," ringing a bell, but that's not how it works. It starts long before you even step into selection. It happens when you lie to yourself about being ready. It happens when you build your motivation on the wrong foundation. It happens when you underestimate what's coming. If you don't fix these things before you show up, you're basically already dead in the water. So let's get into that. But what's the mindset that guarantees failure? Most guys fail before it even begins because of a dangerous belief. And it's kind of, I'll figure out when I get there. I will figure this whole thing out when I get there. But the reality is you won't. If you show up hoping to rise to the occasion, you'll sink to your lowest levels of preparation. That's the truth. If you haven't trained under real stress, you will crack under pressure. If you haven't suffered alone, you'll quit when there's no external motivation. If you've been avoiding your weaknesses, well, selection will find them for you. And we went into this a little bit deeply in the last video, but thinking you'll push through when it gets hard, it's the biggest lie you can tell yourself, because it's not physically hard. It's mentally and emotionally violent. The moment you realize you're not as prepared as you thought, your mind will start searching for an exit. And that's where most guys fail, not when the cadre are screaming at them, not when they're exhausted and cold, but the second that doubt gets a foothold in your mind. So the wrong why will break you. Most guys show up with the wrong reason for being there. And the second things get unbearable, that weak reason collapses. Here's what doesn't work. I want to impress people. No one cares. The cadre, the instructors sure don't. I want to prove people wrong. Well, what happens when no one's watching? I just want the prestige. Well, prestige won't help you get warm when you're shivering in a ditch at 3 a.m. So is your why built on anything external, status, validation, proving something to others? Then you're screwed. You're already done. The guys who make it, they have a why that's deeply personable and completely unshakable. It's not about anyone else. It's about who they are and what they refuse to be. Their why is built much, much stronger. It's about promises to themselves. It's about who they are. It's about refusing to be something they don't want to be. Your why needs to be so strong, so deeply strong enough to carry with you when your body is broken and your mind is screaming at you to quit. And if it's not, selection will rip it apart. You need to stop training like you have options. Most guys prep like special operations selection is just another workout. They focus on numbers, not the environment they'll be in. But selection isn't just about how far you can run or how many push-ups you can do. It's about doing things that on no sleep, with no food, when everything hurts, while getting screamed at in a freezing swamp, with your entire future on the line that you've been dreaming of for years. And if you're not preparing for that, you're preparing to fail. So here's what that means. Figure out how to train your mind and your body in different scenarios. Do it when you're exhausted. Do it when you don't want to. Rise to the level of your standards, not to your feelings. If you can only perform when fresh, you're screwed. Push yourself into the unknown. If your training is always predictable, then it becomes too easy. Obviously, some parts of it need to be so that you can get to a certain level. That's why we challenge ourselves. And finding ways to suffer alone, right? Even if that means cutting off the music when going for a run. Every rep should be proof that you're ready for whatever comes. Not, I hope I'll be ready. That's a failure's mindset. Quitting doesn't start in selection, gentlemen. It starts right now with the way you think, to train and prepare. If you're telling yourself you'll figure it out when you get there, you've already lost. If your why is built on impressing other people, it will collapse the second things get hard. If your training is comfortable and predictable, too often, you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you fix these now, if you build a why that can't be broken, train like you have no options, and kill every weakness before selection does, you won't just survive selection, you'll dominate it. And if you want an exact path to understand this much more deeply, training programs, get ahead of all of your peers, crush your weaknesses, have better mental awareness than you could have ever imagined, and a mentor who's been there and done that of exactly what you want to do, and go to @TheRangerBlueprint on Instagram and send me a DM, and we will chat about it. Now, go train.
Audio Jungle.